so here we are. This is the first move. The 12th Legion is going to move out. They all have a movement allowance of 5, so they're going to move out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then these guys. And these guys, whoops. And their leader follows. And they are all in command, so in theory now they could also be attacking someone, but there isn't anyone, so they're pretty much on their own still, so they cannot do anything but actually move. Then I will try and continue my command, and I'm going to try and activate the auxiliaries. For this I would need to roll a 4, actually I roll an 8. So what happens is, according to the infidel rules, and I know that purists will probably kill me over this, play now passes to the Gauls. And here we go. Here the Gauls are, and let's see what they do. I'm going to activate the Aulerzi, and I'm just gonna have them move. They have a movement of 5, and I'm gonna just move them out. They're all in command because they all sit next to each other and are within the command range of their boss. Now I'm trying to continue by activating the cavalry, and I roll a 4, which is too low in this case, which is too high, so play passes to the Roman player, who is going to activate, and this time no roll is necessary, the auxiliaries as well. Now the auxiliaries have, the skirmishers have a movement of 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They're always in command. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the cavalry. They have a movement of 8, and their leader follows. All leaders have a movement of 9. And now I'm going to try and activate the 12th Legion, and their commander has an activation rating of 3, initiative rating 2. So they all move forward. They all have a movement of 5. Then I'm going to try and activate the 9th Legion. for an initiative of 3. Unfortunately, it's a 4. I roll a 4, so then the the French get to go, the Gauls. And they attack the Roman auxiliary cavalry. So these guys are now going to shock these guys. Now with regard to the shock combat, it works quite like the shock combat, I suppose, in Infidel. If you can shock, you have to, and if you shock, if you have an enemy in your zone of control, you have to shock them if you can, if you're a shocking unit. And what you have to do is you have to make sure that each of the enemy units that is in one of your zones of control is actually shocked. And if you don't shock it, then another friendly unit must shock them. So what we will do is we will just do this really quickly. These guys are going to shock these guys are going to shock these guys, and these guys are going to shock these guys. So it's one-on-one. That makes it quite simple. Now, in order to do the shocking, you again have to look at the weapon system matrix. So you have BC shocking RC. So BC shocking RC doesn't get any modifiers. So then you look at the TQ, and you have to see is there a differential. In this case there isn't, they both have 6. And then you look at the size. If the size differential is 2 or 4, then, or 6 or 8 or whatever, then you do get a benefit from this, but one size is 3, the other is 4, so there is nothing. So basically these guys get a +1 because of the ferocity. And they also get a +1 because they moved before they shocked. So they're at +2. I'm going to roll a die. I get an 8 + 2 is 10, and this means that the effect on the attacker is 0. Nothing happens to them, but the defenders have a DR rout or 2 hits and retreat. So what I now need to do is I now need to check if these guys will rout. I roll a 5, I compare this to their TQ, which is 6, so they don't rout, but they take 2 hits and they have to retreat. They retreat. And these advance. Then these guys shock these guys. It's BC shocking LN. That means we have a +1. The TQ is 6 for both, so no advantage or disadvantage there, and also no size differential, so it's a +1 for the Gauls. +6 is 7, plus they move before they hit is a +8, is a +1, it's 8. And lastly they are ferocious, so that brings us to a 9. And 9 is DR route or 2H and retreat for these guys. Now retreating for them will be impossible because they cannot go through, so it would be an outer route. 6 is equal to their TQ, so in theory, no, they will not. They will not route. Now let's see. A retreat consists of the affected unit being moved 1 hex away from the enemy's unit involved in the shock combat, maintaining its current facing. A unit that retreats off the map. No, that's not it. If there is no eligible hex, the unit stays in place and incurs an additional 2 hits. So basically, these guys are now at 4 hits. Doesn't look too good for them. And then lastly, these guys are gonna shock these guys. TQ is exactly the same. +1 ferocious, +1 for moving before attack. BC versus LN is a +1, so we're at +3. 5, that's an 8. DR route. 4, they don't route, but they retreat and get a +2 hit. So this means that the Gauls have been quite successful. So I will now try and continue their attack for -1. I roll a 7, which is beyond, way beyond Cavarinus's initiative rating. So play passes now to the Romans.